Okay, if I had just put the quadratic formula up in front of you guys without spending these couple of days on it, what would you have done? Is it overwhelming to look at? It's for sure huge. It's bigger than anything we've done formula-wise. And so remember that first initial time where I said, okay, everybody, and I put it on the board and I said, memorize this. Kind of cruel, but how do you feel after doing your songs, spending a couple days looking at it? Better? But now you're like, how do we use it, right? So we've been solving quadratics for quite some time now. And a quadratic, to use the quadratic formula, it needs to be set equal to 0. That's important. Megan, will you shut that for me, please? Thank you. All right. And you want it in descending order. If it's not in descending order, you get your terms messed up, okay? The A is always in front of the x squared. The B is always in front of the x. And the C is always your constant. But it has to equal 0. Okay, that's a have to. So I come down here, and maybe what we'll do first is determine what A, B, and C are. What's A in this equation? It's not. A is the first number that's in front of x squared, so it's 1. It is. It is 1. What is B?
6.
Okay, but I'm going to use its sign. -6. And the C term is what? It's that constant there at the end. Now that I know what A, B, and C are, I can substitute everything into my formula so I can solve for x. All right? Some of you don't like factoring, so you could use the quadratic formula. Some problems we can't factor, so we use the quadratic formula. But if you ever have a something x squared problem, you can use the quadratic formula. Okay? So let's set it up. X equals, right, kind of small. We're going to need some room. And this is why when I sing it, x equals the opposite of b, all right? Because I look and my b is -6, and I just sang the opposite of, right? Some of you chose to sing negative b. What's a -6? So we just need to remember to flip the sign, right? So x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root. Now this is really, really important. The b squared, when you're using your calculator, if you don't have that in parentheses, you could get it wrong. Okay? I want to square the negative as well, not just the 6. So whatever we're squaring needs to be in parentheses. So there's my b squared minus 4 times a c. I'll let you get caught up. And that is all over 2a. Yep, 2a. Now, your calculators are kind of your best friends right here, because I want to show you what you can do. Let me turn this on so you can see it. If order of operations is challenging for you, this is what I really, really recommend doing. Go alpha, y equals, hit number 1, and give you a fraction. So far, so great? All right, now I'm going to type it in exactly like I see it. There is not a plus or minus button, so I'm going to have to do this twice, and I'll show you the shortcut to that in just a second. So I'm going to do the plus one first, square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 9. How'd I do? Does my numerator look like it needs to? I'm really asking because my glasses are done. All right. Then I'm going to arrow down to the bottom, and I will put 2 times 1. Is that my quadratic formula? Now I can hit enter. My first answer is 3. Now I've got to do the minus 1. I don't want to type that all again because that was kind of a pain. Here's your shortcut. I go second, enter, and it pulls up the last thing that I typed. But I do have to go back over there. Oops, I'm trying to arrow over there. And I've got to change that to a minus this time, right? Now I can hit enter. And on that one, I got 3. You don't need to write a repeated answer twice. In your homework, you will just say the answer is 3. Oh. So that is 1 answer. So we can get different answers here. Let's do the next one. Is it set equal to 0? Not set equal to 0, right? So you need to move over that negative 2. Is it always me?
You want me to look at it?
I'm recording,
I won't do anything.
but it's recording my screen over there, so you're okay. Minus 6x, add 2, now it equals 0. Help me figure out then, what's A? 4. What's B?
-6.
And what's C? All right, let's set it up. X equals, wow, a -6 again, huh? The opposite of B plus or minus, I won't keep singing at you because you guys don't want to hear my singing voice, of B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2A. Wow. All right. Grab your calculators. Is it nice that you can do that on your calculator? I'll clear this one out so we don't confuse it. Alpha y equals 6. You guys can't sit together if you're going to keep visiting. Square root of -6 squared minus 4 times 4 times 2 all over 2 times. Could I save myself some work and just type 8 in the bottom? Okay, if there are some things that you could do in your head, like you know -6 squared is 36, that's less key punches, but I'm going to keep typing it all while we're working together. I'm going to hit enter, and I got 1. I don't want to type that all in again. Do you guys remember the shortcut? Second enter. Now arrow over. We did the plus part. Now I have to do the minus part. Enter. And I got 1/2. There it is. All right. Yes, ma'am.
How do you do like the 2A, like the line?
That is your alpha y equals. Green button, y equals number 1 gives you a fraction. All right. Okay, this one has 2 answers. So I've got 1 pretty answer. I have 2 pretty answers here. You think they're pretty all the time?
Mm-mm.
No. So where do you think we're going on the next 2?
Not
All right, this equals 0. So what's your A? 2. What's your B? What's your C?
-3.
All right. Let's set it up. X equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. Do you see how helpful it is to maybe have it kind of memorized for sure, if not all the way? All over 2a. Goodness.
2-8.
Oh. I better fix that, huh? 2 times 2? Thanks. Grab that calculator. Clear that out. Did I mess something up?
No, you didn't.
We're good? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, so did you find that alpha y equals, Zoe, to give you the fraction?
Yeah, it's like not doing the whole thing though. Like it only does the last 4.
I'll have to look at it with you then. Alpha y equals number 1. All right, -3 plus the square root of b squared. Wait a minute, why didn't I just put that one in parentheses before I squared it? All right, I don't need to worry about a negative. Good. All over, I can type 4 instead of 2 times 2. I like it. Enter. Ooh. Usually it'll have you round to the nearest hundredth. So this is 0.686. What is that? 6 due to the 8. Stay or round?
Round.
All right, so 0.69. And let's go again. Second enter. Change that to a minus. And -2.1.
9.
All right. Would you like to see one more? We're good? Usually by the 3rd time we are, but I'm happy to do this one if anybody wants to see it. Give me just a second. Don't open that assignment yet because I think I want to change something on it to make it friendlier for you. And then, yes, it will be open. All right.